This is Robin, otherwise known as Cosmic Alignment, and this is an evolutionary astrological forecast into the first week of January 2019 for your sign, specifically Aquarius. So, without wasting any time, let's just get right into it. So, Aquarius, the first thing I look at when I look at a horoscope for a specific sign is I look to see if there are any planetary bodies within the sign of this horoscope that I'm looking at. So, for example, are there any planets in Aquarius right now? There actually isn't. But what I'll then look at is Saturn and Uranus and see where they're at, because they both rule Aquarius. So looking at those two, understanding how they pertain to you, Aquarius, is the key that will unlock really personally how this is affecting you specifically. But first, let me kind of generally go over the kind of main collective broad stroke energies going on, and then contextualize it and specify it further down for you specifically. So first things first is this is January 1st on Tuesday 2019. This cycle began with Saturn and the Sun conjunct in Capricorn's 11th degree. The Sun, you can say, is spirit, the heartbeat, the vitality, the energy of the solar system, the light, the warmth, creation itself, right? So let's consider this like the main dial of the solar system, the heartbeat, right? Saturn is the natural laws of creation, the cross representing the four elements through which all of creation manifests through, above the crescent of personality representing the ego, reincarnation, this personal avatar that we've manifested in this lifetime, having to adhere to these laws of creation / the cross of the four elements represents the responsibilities that we have in this lifetime, the life lessons. This is why it is always associated with karma and with dharma. It's in some type of way always associated with our duties, our responsibilities, and our integrity. So these two, Sun, Saturn in Capricorn conjunct at the beginning on the 1st of January, something to keep in mind is that, yeah, you know what, this calendar of January to December is a man-constructed, human-constructed, superficial cycle, right? It has no basis in nature. Unlike, like the spring equinox or autumn equinox, or, those do have scientific, astronomical basis. There are actual, moments in our pattern, in our movement around the sun that are significant, that are marks of demarcation that signify a change of season, a change of energy in some type of way. Now, yes, January 1st, 2019, to me, is never really a new year. That doesn't start until, from my opinion, when Aries begins at the spring equinox, when the sun, the equator, and the earth cross, or when the earth is on its orbit around the sun and is perpendicular to the sun's ecliptic plane. At that point, when it crosses that and there's equal amount of day and night, at that point is when the spring equinox occurs, the beginning of a new cycle, this upward movement from the southern hemisphere to the northern hemisphere once the celestial equator is crossed, is what this spring equinox represents. That is a significant new year, a new cycle. But let's just look at 2019 as like it is regardless a cycle that we utilize, that we share here in this matrix, we can say. So this cycle is beginning with this Saturn conjunction with the sun, and also with like 40% of the planets in Capricorn, by the way, which is ruled by Saturn. So all this energy combined, without getting too lost in the specifics, is a lot of grounding energy. Grounding energy that's reminding us to pull our heads out of the clouds and to keep our feet grounded. Sagittarius gets into the philosophical, the metaphysical, the spiritual, the grandiose, that pertains to the larger humanity in terms of our connection to the universe. And that's a previous sign, which grew out of the Sagittarius season. Now walking into this Capricorn season, the next sign, we now want to ground these energies. So all this Capricorn energy, the Saturn energy, has to do with starting to recreate structure in our own lives. Sagittarius, remember, Aquarius, remember that during Scorpio season, there's so much energy in Scorpio, so much transformation, so much darkness coming to light, so much being exposed, so much coming out to be purged, to be detoxed, to be transmuted. And in Sagittarius season, we experience such an ascension, such an upgrade. Now here during this time, we want to share these ideas and philosophies with the world. We want to create a new world. We want to manifest a new world. This is Capricorn energy. It is, so to speak, bringing heaven onto earth, integrating it, grounding it. This is why Capricorn during this season, Capricorn season, it's all about what do we want to manifest out in the world? Who do we want to be in the process? Who will we be in that process? What role will we take? Who do you want to be within the context of culture and society? Like, what is your role? What is your contribution? I don't mean this as some type of like, hey, you got to do something for the world. Like, instead, it has more to do with an inner calling and the self-awareness of your strengths, a self-reflection that unveils these essential strengths within the spirit, what is essential, what we rely on. You know, each one of us within our own structure of consciousness has you can say a gift, a gold, divine spark that represents our strength, our uniqueness, our special quality. That is connected to Saturn, and I feel like sometimes this is not so much emphasized. Saturn gets a bad rep for being a planet that brings us back to our responsibilities and life lessons, and if we don't adhere and listen to the call and act accordingly, then yeah, shit gets torn apart, doesn't work. And Saturn, quote unquote, comes and siphons things and takes things away and breaks things down, but it always does so because it is necessary for our own evolution. And it is important to remember that the Grim Reaper cannot siphon anything that is essential, anything that is part of our spirit. There's no way it can do that. Our spirit cannot be destroyed. Only the aspects of self that are no longer necessary and are no longer valuable are siphoned off. So all this Capricorn, all this Saturn energy is really like an inventory taken of the self and where it's at, and a beginning of recreating our own structures, our own patterns, our own habits. For you, Aquarius, you utilize both structure and form and discipline, and you like to follow the rules. Yes, you do. And then again, there is another aspect of you, and this is why Aquarius is ruled both by Saturn and Uranus, because Saturn is that form, that structure, that adherence to our responsibilities. And then Uranus is that whole other energy that wants to completely revolutionize and do things in a completely original and unique individual manner that reflects an inner genius. So one is more conforming and the other one's more like revealing, we can say, and revolutionary. So two polar opposite energies that you work with, Aquarius. And this season is Capricorn season. And even though it may be more geared towards your Capricorn brothers that are solely ruled by Saturn and driven by that want and desire for establishing that social career, that social standing, establishing authority and power within their collective function. For you, you are interested in that. Yes, you have an ambition to become somebody in society. And this is really strong right now with all this Capricorn Saturn energy. But at the same time, you're also driven by that need to revolutionize and to do things that are completely unique and original and reflect an inner genius about you. So looking at Uranus currently in Aries, creating a square with both lunar nodes. This is something that's been going on for quite some time. And what this reflects for the collective is our own inner genius, our own, and this is the energy of Uranus, this individuality breaking through that channels this light, innovation, originality, and power from the one mind, the universal mind, channeling it through us to create new things that have not been seen before and which are known. This energy is requiring us to let go of old ways of being, of the ways that we have learned to be in the past based on what our parents might have told us, our cultural background, maybe our friends in early childhood. All of these early childhood conditionings are being learned to be released because they might attempt to arbitrarily define us. Now we're learning to let go of those and grasp and project ourselves into the future. And that comes through this North Node Cancer, which is through taking a very nurturing and maternal stance with our own inner voice, our own inner ego. This is interesting because Uranus reflects like an individuation process. This is why it reflects an inner genius. When we become truly aware of how we are unique and we find the genius within our own madness, we unlock and we unlock a really special aspect of ourselves that reflects a divinity that we channel. And this energy is requiring that we let go of old conditioning. And for you, Aquarius specifically, you are driven by these two forces. One, to, in a way, conform to culture and society and the social laws and rules. And at the other end, you're letting go of any arbitrary definitions of who you are and embracing your own individuality. So during this time, I would say during this week at least, especially with this 50% of the planets being in Capricorn, and on Friday through Sunday, even the moon coming into Capricorn, it's a great time to practice that meditative, reflective state that helps you plan into the future and taking a very somber, calm, meditative, reflective state of mind into it. This is Capricorn Saturn energy. It's very slow moving, grounding, thorough, detailed, practical, down to earth, pragmatic, centered. It's very grounding. It's very much looking at just what's essential. It's like an inner elder. It's like a wise man or wise woman or the medicine man. This is that energy, that grandfather, grandmother energy is here with us very strongly, having us look at how we can recreate a sustainable foundation and structure at the beginning of this new cycle. So I would say lean more towards that than acting upon trying to create something new, even though Mars in Aries beginning on the 1st of January also reflects an initiation of new projects and cycles. It might be a good idea to project that out, because Mars in Aries is a need to discover something new about ourselves, trying new things, gaining new abilities and skills. So go ahead and explore it. You don't know what it'll come to in the end, but you'll never know unless you try it out. And right now, that inner urge is the most strong in all of us. It's like we all want to try something new. Mars in Aries only happens 1.8 years, and whatever you're starting with now, keep in mind, it might take something like a little bit under 2 years, 1.8 years, but nothing happens overnight, or hey, it might. Anyways, the other thing to notice this week, Aquarius, is this new moon / partial solar eclipse occurring in Capricorn. Again, it's just emphasizing this Capricorn energy. This is just another more evidence to support this collective consciousness kind of slowing down for a second. After all that expansion, it's like, all right, bring the light, the wisdom, the knowledge, that new world view, that light and expansion back down. And Saturn constricts and wants to bring it down to the ground, down to the earth, down to a very centered, practical level. And this is the energy that we're feeling. And specifically you, Aquarius, it's just a reminder to plan out how you're going to use your energy before you go ahead and take actions in any which direction. So yeah, that's a short analysis of what's going on with the cosmos currently. If you enjoyed this short horoscope, please go ahead and like this video / audio. There are horoscopes for all the other signs. You can go ahead and share any with your friends if you think that they might resonate with it. And if you enjoyed this, consider subscribing. I'll be putting these out weekly, ideally on Sundays. This is my first go, so a lot of learning, and it took me a little bit longer than I had thought, as it usually does. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it, Aquarius. I hope to see you next week, and hope you have a fucking great 2019. See ya.